Hi everyone, it's Jaymie here. I'm a soulful intuitive coach and healer for nonconformist spiritual entrepreneurs ready to take their life and business to the next level. I'm here for Facebook Live Tuesday, and today I want to talk about some fun ways to goal set in a way that's aligned for who you are. I think this is the biggest thing because everybody and their mama has an idea, has a suggestion about the best ways to do things, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, what's going to work for you is going to be the process that you're most receptive to, because it's best to work with yourself rather than against yourself. Yes, you can train yourself to implement tools that are beneficial and ultimately can be, but there's also a way to do that where you're not like reinventing the wheel, but you're actually implementing and embodying who you are. It's the most efficient route to accelerated success. And the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is really tapping into what works for you, because oftentimes I see things posts that say, what's the best way to meditate, or what's the best way to create content, how should I just start writing my first book. The thing is, there's, for whatever idea that you come up with, there's going to be someone who says why it's a great idea, and then someone else who says that it's why it's not a great idea. And oftentimes, both arguments are really valid. It's just about identifying what you're most receptive to. And in order to consciously design your audacious dreams, to live the life that you desire, you've got to have clarity. You've got to have vision. You have to know. You don't have to have all the answers, but you want to have things set up in a way so that you invite in the answers, the things that you're still trying to figure out, so that it's strategic in a soulful way. And this is something that I'm particularly passionate about right now because Mercury Retrograde is going to be starting on Thursday. For those of you who aren't familiar with Mercury Retrograde, it's the time of year where astrologically it appears that Mercury is moving backwards. It's not, it's an illusion. And astrologically, Mercury rules communication and intellect. So it's not a great time to start new projects, but it's an excellent time to do anything that starts with re. So anything that's related to replanning, reorganizing, redecorating, reevaluating, things of that nature. And so one of the things that I love to do is, because Mercury retrograde happens about 3 or 4 times a year and it lasts about a month. That's usually, I schedule when I do my quarterly annual reviews around the time of Mercury retrograde, because you have the astrological support, and it's just a good way to examine what you've been doing, evaluating what works, what doesn't work, what you can do to improve it, and connecting with who you are. This is so absolutely huge. So I think the big thing is you have to experiment on your own. You can sit here and ask for the insights of others, but when you do that, all you're ultimately receiving are just projections, passionate projections about what's worked for other people, which may or may not pertain to you. So you think that it's helpful, and sometimes it is, but it's also taking up so much of your time. And you have all the answers within you. So rather than placing yourself in a position where you have to ask other people for help and then kind of sift through it, which takes up your time, which is the only unrenewable source of energy, you can really connect with what you already know. And so one of the ways that you can do this is by examining, are you a planner or a designer? This is just at the core level of things, right? So you have a planner, someone who is a little bit more specific, likes detail, someone who likes to plan things that are more precise, maybe like things to be more organized, linear, strategic, things like that. And then a designer is someone who's more organic, who kind of goes with the flow and isn't necessarily the most disciplined in like the consistent category. And both of them are okay. It's just a matter of connecting with which of these habits do you embody, and how has it supported you. Because sometimes the process that you're using right now may not be the most advantageous for you, but it's something that you picked up through your environment, and it's sort of just been this habit that you developed. And other times, the system that you're using, because it doesn't work, that's why you haven't achieved the goals that you desire. Other times, it could be that you just need to adjust it, and the big thing is you have to find what works for you. So often I see a lot of my clients tell me that they have commitment issues, they don't know how to focus and this and that, but it's not them, it's the system. As entrepreneurs, you're a nonconformist, so you're less likely to tolerate things that don't resonate with you. So it's actually a compass and an opportunity to become solution oriented and identify what things you can execute in order to make it appealing for you, whatever that is. So first, identify what your natural habits are and your tendencies, because that is a map and tells you a story, and you can probably build off of that rather than taking in the insights of strangers. If you're naturally a designer, that's great. Maybe it's about taking advantage of the fluctuations that you have, but also training your fluctuations so that it's to your advantage. I'm personally more of a designer than a planner, and so I do a lot of amazing work when I'm most inspired. I can get weeks worth of stuff done in half a day, but I don't want to be at the mercy of my inspiration. And so I've set the intention 1 or 2 days a week to have a week's worth of content. And I switch it up with certain things that I'm not as receptive to, where my inspiration doesn't strike, like things with technology. I'll do a little bit every day. It's really about connecting with what works for you naturally, and then examining whatever goal you're trying to execute, which process is going to give you the results that you desire. So it's identifying what works for you, what have you been doing, what are the benefits of it, what support do you need, and out of being a planner or a designer, which of the two or both is going to support you in your goals, and how can you execute that? So these are kind of the core pieces of things, and it's just very much the process that you can apply in any area of your life. It can be examining your business goals or your life goals and seeing, okay, well, how much of these goals that I've had have I accomplished? If you don't have these goals set up, write them down, get clear about them, and ask yourself what works, what doesn't, and be honest about what you truly want to do and some of the things that are going to push up against you. And at first, I recommend just writing things down without limiting yourself. Okay, there may be things that come up later on, but depending on who you are, the stuff that comes up first are either going to be the things that are most important to you, or you need time to warm up. In which case, it's the stuff that you write later on. But once you have everything on paper, you'll realize which stuff you're most receptive to, which ones you're most connected to at this point in time. And you can pick specific things during this Mercury retrograde for like the next 3 months or the next month, or however way you want to plan things that works for you, and experiment with it, play with it, and see what works. Some of the ways that I personally enjoy doing things is I like to pick 3 things. Something related to mind, body, and soul. If I'm starting at the core of things, I might write down a list of a lot of the different things that I'm interested in doing. And that doesn't have to be things limited to things that I think I'll do. If you like variety, I would just write down all the list of possibilities, things you can do for mindset, body, and soul, and then just pick something out of that. And then also have a schedule that is specific and daily so that you stay focused. If having that variety is overwhelming for you, you can pick one area and just really experiment and play with that. Because rather than trying to do a little bit of everything, when you just master one thing, if that resonates with you, you're going to have a better understanding of what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and you can apply that knowledge and wisdom into other areas of your life. So that's really valuable. And the other thing is to be time conscientious. I'm not going to be an advocate that says that you have to wake up early in the morning. I'm personally a morning person, but I feel that we all have a different internal clock. So tune into what is most aligned for you. Is it in the morning? Is it in the afternoon? Is it at night? Whatever that is, what creates a conducive environment that makes you the most productive in those during that time zone, and how can you implement some of these things into your day-to-day life. Once you start doing that, and once you get down to like these core basics, it starts to become easier, and the things that you want to the goals that you want to achieve, they just kind of start to like flow through you and develop naturally, because you don't have to constantly manage it. You don't have to constantly maintain it. You want to pick whatever is going to be the most natural and easiest for you. Obviously, yes, you're gonna have certain things that push up against you, and that's okay. Just focus on what you can do right here, right now. Just write it down. That is a big thing, and I hope that you guys consider goal setting quarterly around Mercury retrograde. I've found it to be tremendously valuable. If you have any questions or you want to chat, go ahead and comment. Thank you so much for being here, everyone, and for watching this video, and I look forward to watching some of your videos. Bye!